Yes, indeed, folks. You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Tolobus. And yes, you can win BlizzCon tickets, courtesy of WoW Radio and Blizzard Entertainment. If you want to find out how, you go to WCRadio.com. You can look at the top page, the top news post. It should still be there, I would hope. I'll give you a brief rundown. All you have to do to win these, you've got about a week to enter. You don't have a lot of time, that's for sure. You have to either call us on 704-966-OMFG, that's 6634. Yep, if you're in the States, you can call and leave a voicemail. Or alternatively, you can send an audio clip attachment to WoW Radio Tickets. That's WoW Radio Tickets at gmail.com. Saying, WoW Radio, send me to BlizzCon. That's all you need to do. Either leave a voicemail on the OMFG voicemail service, or email wowradiotickets at gmail.com with an audio file that says, WoW Radio, send me to BlizzCon. We'll be accepting entries for the next 5 days only, so you better be quick about it. Entries close on 17th of June. And there will be 3 tickets, 3 winners, as part of a random draw, and 1 ticket will be announced on Blue Please next week. 1 will be announced on Wild Things Considered, and 1 will be announced on Casually Hardcore. So, yes, tune into those shows to find out if you can get these things. These are things that are like gold dust now, man. Gold dust. You can't get these anywhere. They're totally sold out. But we got 3. Oh, yeah. So if you want to enter, you want to get to BlizzCon, that'll be the way to do it. Also, a quick reminder that we are going to BlizzCon and we'll be providing coverage for those of you unable or unwilling to go. Live coverage of every possible panel, plus a studio with commentary, news, and shows. And it's going to be awesome. We are raising money to help us do that. Buy a bit of extra equipment. We're going to be hiring some more servers so we can make sure we can deliver you the best possible quality, as well as helping out our guys with their hotel fees and buying extra rooms for the studio and stuff like that. Because let's face it, we don't want them sleeping outside. That would be unpleasant. We are running a team effort. Team Murloc and Team Nubcake. I must say I put my weight behind No, not that. Let's not say that. No. She's going to kill me. Yes, my wife is actually on Team Murloc, so I've got to support Team Murloc. I'm kind of supposed to. So, yeah, if you want to donate, just even a couple of dollars is much appreciated. Go on WCRadio.com, you'll see a couple of little buttons at the top of the screen, either chip into Team Murloc or chip into Team Nubcake, and the losers get pied in the face for all of the donators to see at BlizzCon. And Dustin gets extra pies regardless of what happens. So, yeah, it's great. It's a win-win situation for all if you don't like Dustin. And I'm sure that the vast majority of you do not like Dustin. I know I certainly don't. Anyway, time to get on with the show, folks. Time to get on to a little bit of content. Content that is coming up in patch 3.2. You can be in the IRC channel to check out the links, which you should be, irc.mmoirc.com, # or pound, WoW Radio, or click the chat button at the top of the screen on WCRadio.com. Head in there and Davlin will post a link to this. It's the brand new, hot off the presses, Isle of Conquest preview. Those of you who do not know what the Isle of Conquest is, it's a new battleground coming in patch 3.2. We have no idea when it's coming out yet, but I imagine it's going to be hitting the PTRs along with all of the other cool and good stuff like the new raid content that's coming in patch 3.2 very, very soon indeed. I think it will be on the PTRs for testing. Yeah, I give it, I'm going to predict 3 weeks. I'm going to just put it out there as a ballpark figure, 3 weeks. Now, there's a lot of cool and interesting stuff about this, and I'd like to talk about what's new and what's coming in this particular battleground, and then we'll see whether or not this is actually going to be worth playing. Now, the Isle of Conquest is an island where there are conquests. We shouldn't really be surprised by this, and I commented in a previous show that naming your island the Isle of Conquest is just asking for trouble. Now, here's the idea. You've got 2 opposing forts. Yes, 2 fort, as you might have it. 2 opposing forts, each has a general in it, kind of like Alterac Valley. And you have to take control of various areas on the Isle of Conquest in order to gain various benefits. Kind of like Arathi Basin. And you've got to go and kill the opposing general, who is inside the fort. So, it's like a combo. It's like a mixture of Alterac Valley with Lake Wintergrasp with AB, which sounds pretty cool. And to be honest, that's kind of part of the course. You'll notice that the last, well, I wouldn't say the last couple of battlegrounds, the Eye of the Storm was a combo battleground between AB and Warson Gulch. It had Capture the Flag elements combined with kind of king of the hill, hold the point elements. And this is no different. You've got the kill the general PvE objective of Alterac Valley. You've got the capture the points element of AB, and you have the siege the keeps element of Lake Wintergrasp and Strand of the Ancients. And it's all combined together into a great big hodgepodge, and it's a 40 versus 40 battleground, so it's going to be a big one. Now, what I'm personally hoping for this one is that it's going to be a good replacement for Alterac Valley, which, quite frankly, has not been good for a very long time. And siege gameplay is a good thing in PvP. I'm a big fan of siege and attack and defense, as opposed to, hey, there is a hill, or hey, there is an objective, and we must stand around and fight over it. Now, the unique thing about this particular battleground is that, unlike AB, capturing the points doesn't just give you points, as it were. It gives you special benefits. And this is cool. So, let's have a talk about these. Let's go through these. There are, as well as a bunch of graveyards, which are all attached to the various points of interest on the map, there are 5 points that you can capture, and there are 5 different buildings. There's an oil derrick, there is a cobalt mine, there is the docks, there is the airship hangar, and there is a siege workshop. And all of these do different things. Now, the oil derrick gives you reinforcements and a continuous flow of honor. That's pretty cool. This entire battleground is basically ripped off of Battlefield 1942. Now, those of you who don't know what the Battlefield series does in their multiplayer games is you each start with a set of tickets, okay? Set of tickets. And these tickets decrease as the game goes along. And every time someone dies, you lose a ticket. Now, in the case of Battlefield, the more points you hold, the faster the enemy's tickets goes down. Doesn't look like this is the case here, but the ticket system, which has also been introduced into AV, that was quite a late edition, is a part of this battleground. So, if you have the oil derrick, you get bonus reinforcements, bonus tickets. Now, if you take the cobalt mine, you can also get reinforcements and bonus tickets. So there are 2 places you can get. One is, I believe, out in, yes, it's the northwestern end of the island. Yeah? It's almost in the middle of the ocean. The cobalt mine is in the southeast. So, at both sides of this big island, you've got these 2 things which do exactly the same. And that's kind of interesting, because you'd imagine that, of course, one side is going to hold one side is going to hold the other. But if one side holds both, then they're going to have a great advantage. As well as also getting a ton of honor, and that's not a bad thing. Now, the docks, this is where things get interesting. On the western shore of this battleground, there's going to be the docks. And the docks give new siege weapons. Yes, we haven't seen these siege weapons before, or rather, you have if you played Warcraft 3. The glaive thrower and the catapult. You can increase the destruction of the glaive thrower upon the walls of the keep, or launch your invading party over the walls to assault the keep from within, if you own the docks. So in other words, yes, you can fire people over the walls in a catapult, which is in itself +5 awesome. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what the glaive thrower does. It sounds, I don't know. There's not a lot of information about the glaive thrower. I imagine it's probably not pilotable. It might be just some kind of NPC-controlled weapon. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's interesting nonetheless. Now, the airship hangar. This I find really interesting. This is actually putting aerial combat in some form into a battleground. Now, what it does is, once you get the airship hangar, you'll be able to board the airship which is docked there. Now, the airship, I imagine, by the sounds of it, goes around the battleground, yeah? Just like the bombing run missions. You've seen them in Howling Fjord, you've seen them, of course, in TBC, the bombing run missions. So you are on this airship, and you can rain fiery death down on people. Which is awesome. Not only that, but you get parachutes, yeah? Which means you can hot drop into the enemy keep. Now, listen to the music in the background. You'll know that if you have any sense whatsoever that this music was from PlanetSide. The best thing about PlanetSide was dropping loads of people down into the middle of a keep. So thereby, logic dictates that dropping loads of people down into the middle of a keep in a battleground is going to be awesome. That is irrefutable. I'm pretty psyched about that. Not only that, there's of course a siege workshop, which is right slap bang in the middle. And the siege workshop, as you might imagine, is going to be pretty hotly contested. And it lets you use a bunch of siege vehicles to go and kill the enemy keep. So yeah, makes sense. Now, the keeps themselves have a bunch of defensive cannons, which you've seen before, and you can, of course, blow up the walls and get inside and then kill the general. The general is all the way at the back of the keep in the safest position possible, and that's basically it. Now, for me, what I've seen over the past few years with Battlegrounds is the constant attempt to refine it into a form where it's not a blatantly obvious deathmatch arena, where it's actually a fight. Now, Wintergrasp and Strand of the Ancients did a pretty good job of this. Warsong Gulch I never really liked. It's like, I like the gameplay of it, but I don't like the concept. The concept is too obvious. Hey, let's capture the flag. I mean, come on. AV had some nice ideas, but it was implemented incredibly badly. And indeed, the attempts to resurrect AV never, ever worked. AV, to me, is dead, and indeed has been dead for a very long time. AB was pretty good, but again, also played out a little bit too much like some kind of deathmatch, as opposed to an actual battle. Now, I was never a really big fan of Eye of the Storm either, for the reasons just mentioned, and plus the entire place sucks, I hate it. But, again, Strand of the Ancients, I really, really, really liked. It was fun, and I also kind of like Wintergrasp. So, to me, I think this is a good logical evolution on those concepts, and hopefully will bring Siege into Battlegrounds into a way that's a little bit more meaningful than the way it is right now. Don't get me wrong, I like Strand of the Ancients, but it's a little bit arbitrary, don't you think? It's kind of forced. It's like they shoehorned it in there just because they had to, you know? It's like, we need a battleground that has siege engines in it. How do we do it? This, on the other hand, has a reason for siege engines being there because there's a castle to siege. 2 castles, in fact. And indeed, fighting over the siege engines becomes important. And I also like the fact that they've taken the idea of castle warfare and put their own little spin on it, yeah? The idea of being able to get over the walls with a catapult and the idea of being able to get over the walls with an airship hot drop is a very cool idea. And that will definitely change the dynamic of the battleground. You can't just sit on the walls and shoot. Because people are going to be dropping into the middle of your base. You can't let them have the airship hangar. You've got to fight over it. You've got to fight over all this stuff. There are 2 ways of getting over the walls. The airship hangar and the docks, because you get the catapult there. So you've got to try and fight over that as well. And if you don't get that, and they end up controlling both the oil derrick and the cobalt mine, they're going to be getting a ton of reinforcements. Thereby, you can't bleed them out either. There's a ton of different ways to win, for what I can tell, even though the objective is clear: kill the general. It seems to me that the way that each one could turn out is going to be very, very different to the last. And that's, again, something that Battlegrounds have had a problem with. They all seem to follow the same basic formula. Yeah, the win seems to happen in exactly the same way. AV is particularly guilty of this, because it's basically, hey, rush over to the other side and kill the general. Yeah, that's not PvP. This is PvP. This is a good integration of the PvE aspect of things with the PvP. Heavier emphasis on PvP than AV. And all of these different ways to win. All of these different strategies that you can use. And I have no doubt, of course, that pugs will ruin it all. And it's the scrubs and the people that just go in there just for the sake of it and aren't really paying any attention will probably end up ruining it. But you know what? I hope they allow pre-mades, because I see some great possibilities for some really good pre-made combat. That would be great. You know, this is like raiding in a PvP environment. And this is something that, to be honest, only, from what I've played, Warhammer Online has done very, very well. They've done the keep sieging, and they've done the battlegrounds, which are more interesting than WoW's battlegrounds and stuff like that. So, this is WoW trying to get a little bit of that back. And no doubt stealing a few good ideas from Warhammer Online in the process. And I have no complaints, because Warhammer Online is not a bad game. And if you're going to steal, at least steal from somewhere good. So yeah, very happy about that. I might actually get into that battleground. I haven't been in battlegrounds in a big way in a while, and I did used to enjoy them quite a lot. I think I'm going to enjoy this one. I don't really have anything particularly bad to say about it. Now, the only issue that I have is that the players are going to ruin it as opposed to Blizzard. And I do hope that Blizzard just tries to make it a little bit easier to understand, but doesn't start taking complexity and depth out of it, because this seems like it's multi-layered and it's got a lot of potential fun, strategy, and depth to be had. My name is Soul Biscuit, and you're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. When we come back after the break, we'll be talking about the mount changes and why you're a bunch of crybabies. This is another entry for WoW Idol 2009. It's the mighty Daryl Brewer with My Name is a Newbie. You can vote for this one at wcradio.com/votes. Enjoy.
Wow, this place is huge. You see, I only got here a moment ago. I'm only level 9 or so. I'm hoping you can help me figure out what's going on. Lots of people running around, don't know if they're lost or found. There's a naked guy dancing for all to see. Who would do that? Not me. Well, it's time to sing a song, and if you know it, why don't you sing along? Here we go. I wander around the auction house and look at all the things I could be buying. I asked somebody for some gold. They said that they were broke. I think they're lying. I realize that I'm on the wrong continent, so I best get to stepping. I hurry up on over to that big balloon somebody called Zeppelin. Excuse me, Mr. Traveler, my name it is a newbie. Can you help me find my way? It's really very difficult for me to find my party. I really have to say, my function in this raid, well, it lose me, but I think that I'm a healer. I hope that we can pass this fight. I gotta get some food from the mushroom dealer. Now I'm casting spells like a way you tell, but everyone I've met, they seem to be griping. Apparently, I gotta heal the tank and not myself. Now we're wiping. Excuse me, Mr. Raid Leader, my name's a newbie. Can you help me find my way? It's really very difficult for me to heal my party. I really have to say, alright. Somebody help me find my way. One more thing I gotta say, my name is a newbie, and that rhymes with Scooby, and I think that's groovy. But then again, I'm a newbie. My name is a newbie. My name is a newbie. Alright.
And now a message from Team Murloc.
We wanna win this duel just like in a dream. Take them, hold them, throw them, buy them, donate to our team. We love it. Your click and your donation will give us a start. And at BlizzCon 09 we'll be armed with the tart. Whoa, 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 whoa. Team Murloc rocks, got epic screenshots. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now pick on slot with cream on the top. Throw that pie, throw that pie, throw that pie on that nutcake face. See that pie, see that pie, see that pie on that nutcake face. Nutcake, nutcake face. Nutcake face. Hi, this is Ariana reminding you to donate to Team Murloc for the BlizzCon 2009 WoW Radio Staff Duel. Every cent goes straight to providing you, the listener, with footage of what you've always wanted. Girls hitting guys with pies in the face. Donate to Team Murloc at WCRadio.com and help us frost Team Nutcake. And remember, if we win, Dustin still takes 2 to the face.